We're going to move across to Prime Video for another new drama series, also arriving on Thursday, the 19th of September. It's called A Very Royal Scandal, and here's a clip.
Emily Maitlis, BBC.
I've been warned about you. You have a bit of a reputation.
Well, for you, I'll try and behave.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah, we really are making hay while the sun shines here, aren't we? Because, of course, you will remember that there was Scoop earlier in the year, which we reviewed, and the brilliant Gillian Anderson was in that, and it was great. We both really enjoyed it, and it did really, really well. So I suppose this is just kind of taking this on to a degree. So there's 3 episodes in this. So this is all focused around that fateful evening that Emily Maitlis interviewed the now infamous Prince Andrew interview for BBC Two's Newsnight. 2019 that was. Can't believe it's quite that long ago. But it was, it was jaw-dropping, wasn't it? Some of the stuff that was said, it was quite unbelievable. Still being spoken about now, and living relatively close to Woking Pizza Express often comes up in conversation because the man doesn't sweat, remember. Anyway, I digress. But this delves deeper into it. So this looks at the events leading up to the interview, the aftermath of it, kind of the full story and what it was really like. Now, how accurate that is, sure, but it's probably a bit like The Crown. I want to believe it all. And it's, I suppose what you're seeing is the way in which you have, what the lengths she had to go to secure an interview correctly, properly, to make sure this happened. And I think that everybody, probably even Emily Maitlis, was relatively surprised that this happened, that this was agreed to, because it does seem an odd thing for him to have done, or for his advisors to have agreed to, or perhaps they didn't and he did it anyway. So yeah, you see the whole kind of lead up, the aftermath of it, and you see the people within it and how that, and the cogs and how that works too. So it's kind of the behind the scenes, I suppose, of Scoop, which we saw as the main thing. This is kind of a behind the scenes element. Michael Sheen and Ruth Wilson step into these roles. So Michael Sheen, Andrew, Ruth Wilson, Emily Maitlis. She's also executive producer of the show. So there's got a lot of skin in the game here, and it has to be right. People will enjoy it. It's fascinating. It just is fascinating. There is something fascinating about when the wheels come off, I think, and seeing something so raw and so awful and so ugly, and something that he's still having to live down today, and also the horrors of around this story too. So really, this all started in 2010, didn't it? When well, it did in this series, where he's made aware of the allegations surrounding Epstein, and he tries to bat them away, and he kind of always has done. And I think that's fascinating too, because we've lost a part of that history, if you like. This takes us right back. I think all of us in our minds is just that interview, if you like. So I think this puts meat on the bones, really. Fascinating. Definitely one to watch.
I agree. It is unfortunate for them that this is the second adaptation to come out, but they always knew that they were going to be second. So I would say Rufus Sewell in Scoop, I think he very much looks like Prince Andrew, and obviously they'd used prosthetics, whereas Gillian Anderson, we felt she was doing a bit of her Margaret Thatcher when she was doing Emily Maitlis. So I think in this, Michael Sheen, yeah, he doesn't particularly look like Prince Andrew, but from seeing him play people like Tony Blair, Brian Clough, he can just get under the skin of real life people that he's portraying, and he's brilliant. And his Andrew is, as you expect, very arrogant, very rude. Like he tells all of his sort of minions to F off all the time. And we see Fergie, we see his daughters, and yes, you're right. So there's much more background, and interestingly, because the things that you mentioned that made all the headlines in the interview about the not sweating and the Pizza Express. They show in this that they'd finished the interview. I mean, this is Maitlis's sort of authorized version of this, so I think we can. It's pretty, going to be true to what happened. They finished the interview, and then Andrew remembers that he hasn't given his kind of alibis, which are these two weird claims, and so he says, "Oh, can you ask me about these two things, because we didn't touch on them." And so and also it does go into more detail about how on earth was this terrible decision to give this interview ever made, and it does explain that. So yeah, I would say don't feel like, oh, I've kind of seen the drama about this already, so I won't bother, because it really is very, very good.